Hello everyone. So this is the Adobe Illustrator demo, and this demo I'm gonna go over all the useful functions and shortcuts, especially shortcuts, so that you can work more efficiently and faster and less frustrating. So let's get started. So first things first, I'm gonna make like a random shape, say rectangle. So you probably know this already. If you do something, so you start to altering this rectangle like this, and I'm just gonna make a lot of random edits. Then if you want to go back, undo whatever you just did, what you want to do is hit Control Z, but if you're using a Mac, you want to do Command Z to undo. So if I were to do Control Z, I'm using a Windows computer, so Control Z is going to go back one step backward, and then it's going to bring back to the original square that I made. But if you want to go forward, meaning that you want to redo your edits, you can hit Control Shift Z. If you're using a Mac, it'd be Command Shift Z. So Control Shift Z, and it's gonna redo the edits that I did. So this is going to be your best friend, because you'll make a lot of mistakes. So make sure that you remember about that. And another neat hotkey that you can use is Shift. So it is the Shift. I don't know how to put it in words, but you just have to kind of use it and then notice what it does. So it applies to all Adobe, almost every software out there, whether it be Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop or like Autodesk CAD programs, or even Words, PowerPoint, Microsoft Office softwares. They all have a special function tied to the Shift key. So what Shift key does is, if I wanted to it does everything kind of a way that is locked. So if you were to just freehand click and try to make a square, it's not going to work very well. But if you were to hold down the Shift and then do this, you'll be able to make no matter where your cursor is, it's going to lock that original proportion, and then it's going to create a square. Same goes for the rotation as well. So if I were to just freehand rotate, it's gonna go, you see all that degree is gonna go all that like that. But if I hold down the Shift, it's gonna rotate 45 degree increments. So this is useful if you want to do something very precise. And also it also applies to moving your objects. So if I freehand it, you can pretty much put it anywhere, but if I hold down the Shift, it's only gonna go straight 90 degree up and down and 45 degree diagonally. So try that, and then you get you'll see what I mean by this. Okay, and another useful thing is called Alt key or Option key if you're using the Mac. So if I hold down to Alt or Option key and then click this guy, notice that the cursor changes to this looking cursor. So if I were to hold down the Alt and then drag and drop, it's gonna create this. It's gonna duplicate whichever that you chose with your selection tool. I'm not too sure if this is gonna work like this. Yeah. So no matter if it is direct selection tool or selection tool, it's gonna duplicate the elements. So that's how you can quickly make another element. But also you can just copy and paste, Control C and Control V. So Control C copies elements. So I'll make something. So Control C, if I click this, Control C or Command C, and Command V or Control V is going to copy and paste. guys probably know this already. This gets really useful when you're writing essays, right? Okay, and then another neat thing that you can do is, let's say you're making like a, I could do something like, let's say I could do something like, I'm gonna select the reference point right here, and then what you can do is you can hold down the like this, and then if you want to make a square going all the way around, or use with this reference point right here. So if you don't know how to do what I just did, go back to the Illustrator basics demo, and you should be able to find this. So after you duplicate one element here, what you can do is you can hit Command or Control D, and it's gonna duplicate the function command that you just did. So this gets useful when you want to create something. I'm gonna Command Z all this out. Oh, that's a little bit too much. Say you can create something really cool with this. Reference point around here, and right here, and then hit the Alt key. Come on, what's going on? Okay, Alt key, and then do that, and then Command D, and do that, and you can create this kind of radial pattern to it. So that's how you can do one thing. And also what you can do is you can hit Alt key. It doesn't work like that. Then you can do kind of this, and then if you hit Command D all the way, it's gonna create this cool looking geometric pattern like this. So that is the Command or Control D to duplicate the last command that you gave to the Illustrator. Okay, so next thing is next thing that I want to talk about when it comes to hotkeys is using the hotkey for selecting these tools right here. So if you hover your cursor over, it'll tell you what the hotkey is. So in this case, it's the selection tool. So hotkey is V, and this is direct selection tool. Is hotkey is A. So these you're gonna be using a lot. So it's better to understand. Better to memorize these two hotkeys. And this pen tool is, I think it's P, and then add pen tool is like a plus sign, plus on your keyboard, and text tool is T, line is, I think it's L, no, it's a backslash. Okay, backslash. Square tool is M, for some reason I don't know why. Brush tool probably B. Oh, there you go. And you can really take a look and start to memorize all these hotkeys. But important hotkey that you I think it's necessary to remember, there's only two, which is selection tool and the direct selection tool. Alright, that is it for the hotkey. And then next thing I want to talk about is reference points. So this gets useful when you want to create something really precise. So I think this is 3000 by 3000, 2000 by 2000. But what if you only want to create a 1000 by 1000 and then have it perfectly placed right here? So to make an element that is something precise, you can just select the shape tool and then click anywhere on the canvas, and then you can manually type in the values. But another thing you can do is you can just create this kind of thing, and then if you take a look at the top panel, you'll see transform tool right here. So if you click the transform, and it'll give you this kind of option to it. So for this X and Y means that is the element's position of X and Y. So remember, this is 2000 by 2000. So if I were to put 2000 by 2000, it's going to go all the way bottom. But notice that the center of the shape is aligned to the 2000 by 2000. That is because you see these 9 dots right here, and then the center one is selected. That means that that the center of the shape is set as a reference point. So if I were to click this guy right here and give 2000 by 2000, now that the top left corner is using the position of the top left corner is 2000 by 2000. So we don't want that. We want to put it on the top left corner. So what you can do is 0 by 0, meaning that this is 0 from the top and 0 from the left. But if you want to put it on the left bottom corner, you can do top x is horizontal and y is vertical. So if x, I'm not gonna touch it because we want to align right here, but we want to put it on the bottom. So we're gonna select this reference point right here, and then we're gonna give it a 2000. Then voila, it does that. But if you want to put it on the right side, what we can do is we're gonna change the x to 2000 and y to 0, but now we have to change the reference point to this guy. So 2000 by 0, and there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna push back to this guy right here. Reference point 0, 0, and now we have to make it this square to perfectly 1000 pixel by 1000. So what you can do is you can go to transform tool and then put W, which is for width, and height 1000 by 1000, and there we go. Now we created a shape that is 1000 by 1000. But notice how it's still using this as a reference point. So even if I were to reduce the size of it, it's going to use this as a reference point and then reduce its size according to that reference point. So notice that this position doesn't change because it's a reference point. But if I were to put the center reference point and then go 1000, it's going to use that as a reference point. So and 0. Okay. So another useful thing you can use to do things quite precisely is using the snap tool. So snap is located in, I believe it's in view, and you'll see all this snap to pixel, snap to point, snap to blah blah blah. So I suggest that you turn the snap. I don't like snap to pixel tool, it gets a little weird, but I like to turn it on the snap to point right here. So what it does is, if I have two elements like this, but if I want to have just these two anchor point touch, just by freehand doing it, it's going to be hard. But if I have that snap to point turned on, it's gonna automatically snap to that point. It's gonna snap. Oh, come on. Sometimes the center point try to snap, so it doesn't work very well. But now you notice that intersect, that the message pops up. That means that it's intersecting and it is perfectly lined up. So that's how you use the snap tool to perfectly align these two right here. But sometimes the settings gets turned off, so make sure that your smart guide is on, and then guides, you can make sure that this is checked, and then make sure that these two are checked. Okay, what else that we need to go over? I think that is it for now. Oh, another thing that I want to go over is how can you import the an image. So easiest way is just go to the website and then just right click, copy image, and just command V and command V to paste. But notice that this is black because it's probably because it's PNG file, meaning that it was supposed to be transparent, but Adobe Illustrator for some reason it registers as a black image. So well, then let's try to copy something else. We're gonna go to SPCC website and copy that image and paste it in there, and now we have this. So here you can resize the image if you want to trace this image. So you can hold down the shift. If you don't hold down the shift, you're gonna lose that original aspect ratio. So hold down the shift and then resize it like this. And then if you want to lower the opacity of this element, what you can do is you can select this guy right here and then go to window, and then you can hit appearance right here. And then you can see the opacity, which means the transparency panel. Click that and then you can set to 10%, and now it's 10% opacity. You can set to 100% and that is 100% opacity.